Okay, so 1, 3, variables and expressions. Let's talk about this bell ringer. So it's 5, bracket 11 minus, parentheses 7 plus 5, and a parentheses divided by 4, and a bracket. Wow. Tell me about these brackets. They're first, aren't they? What did you do first inside, Olivia? Okay. So you probably had this, and then bracket, bracket, 5. Inside those brackets, what's the next thing you do, Kaylee? Yep. Why am I doing that first? You're right. If you use please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, that division comes first. So then it looks like this. It looks like 11 minus 3, and then all in brackets 5. Still doing my brackets first. I have 11 minus 3, which is what? 8. I can't even get my thing here. And then should be 40. Does that make sense to everybody? Questions on that? All right, let's move on. 2 vocab words for you today. Variable and algebraic expression. We kind of talked about both of these a little bit the other day, but we're really, really, really focusing on them today. They're going to be the focus of our lesson. So. Okay, so a variable, that's a placeholder for something. Usually it's something we don't know, right? Sometimes it'll tell you what they want you to put in for the variable. Sometimes you're going to have to solve for the variable. Today they're going to tell you what to put in for the variable. Okay, we're not going to solve for a variable yet. Then algebraic expression. This contains sums or products of variables in numbers. Other words, it's a math sentence with a variable in it and some kind of operation. What did we say an operation was the other day? Do you remember? John? Yep, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So this would be an example of an algebraic expression. Okay? This could be an algebraic expression, really anything that has a variable in it or a variable and a operation. Can you use any letter you want, usually? Yeah, use the first letter of your name. I don't care. But in algebra, sometimes they use X. They use X a lot, just so you know. Oops. Okay, so this is a lot of what they're going to do for you today. They're going to give you something, and it's your job to substitute. Remember what the word substitute means? What does that mean? Put in, yep. So it's going to tell you what they want you to substitute, and then they're going to have you solve it. So, yes, I want you to rewrite the problem. So for this one, you're going to write 5 times 6 plus 3 times 7. Rewrite the problem with the new for everyone, and then you can solve. Yeah, I'll still do this one. Yep. Rewrite it, put new things in, and then you can solve it. And if you need to use, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, please use those steps, okay? Just kind of what we did yesterday. So, or Monday, or Friday, or whatever day we did this. Friday, evidently. Okay, so this is going to be 30 plus 21. 51 should be your answer here. My smartboard has been off all day, and I can't, I've tried like 6 times. It is terrible. I don't know why. I don't know if I need to talk to Mrs. Shook about it or what, but not very good. All right, so I'm going to do this one next. So 10, 3 minus 5. Notice we have a negative in here. Anybody remember your negative rules? Anybody? What's that? What? Okay, but that's for, well, I could do that here if I wanted to, but do I know 3 minus 5? What's 3 minus 5? Negative 2. I could use keep, change, change. Yeah, that would work just right for here. So negative 2 times 10. And my answer going to be positive or negative? Negative 20. Remember, two different signs gives me a negative. And I don't know how many negatives you're going to have to deal with. So I doubt a whole lot. What's the matter? This next one, I'm going to do 5. 3 times 5, they're both 5, is minus 2. Parentheses, well, that's a lot. So we're going to have 15 minus 2, should be 13, times 5, 65. Yep. Do it in steps, show your work, it'll make it a lot easier for you. Especially sometimes if you get in trouble or can't figure out what you did wrong, it's easy to go back and look at all your steps to figure out what you did. So this is going to be a lot of your homework today. Simple enough? Yeah, you should be able to handle that. Just make sure you're writing out the new problem for me, please. Sure, you can do these by yourself. Let's let you do these by yourself. We'll do this as practice. Go ahead and do these by yourself. Remember, if two letters are together, it means you're going to multiply them. Don't forget. Everybody done? Another second, anybody? All right, first one, AC plus B. So you would have done 3 times 2 plus B. What did you get for an answer? Lauren? What? 10? I think it's 11. I think it's 11 because it should have been 3 times 2 plus 5. This would have been 6. Oops. Oh, yeah. Plus 5 equals 11. All right. What about this one? A times B times C. 30. Okay. This one, 4 times A, which would have been 3, so 12, plus B times C, which is 10, 22. Okay. Any questions for me? Okay. All right, so another thing you're going to have to do is they're going to give you a situation, and you have to remember how we wrote it out like yesterday or Monday. What day is it? I don't even know what day it is. Friday when we did it. Remember they gave you those scenarios, and then you had to just write it out. You didn't have to solve it. Remember that? Like there's I don't know. I don't remember what one was, but something. I think the first one was like 8 times 6. I know. Tell me about it. I think 8 times 6. This time, you're going to do the same thing, only one of those things you're not going to know. So you're going to have to put a variable in for it, but can you solve it? No, you still can't solve it. So for these, you're still going to write out what's happening, but you don't have to solve. So defining a variable. So you're going to have something missing in your situation this time. And you're going to give it a variable. Do I care what variable you use? I don't care. Use the first letter of your name. It doesn't matter to me. So this first one, I would actually write out in your notebook as an example. 12 more points than the Dolphins scored, and I'll show you how to do this in a second. All right, so let's say like the Vikings, or I'm just saying the Vikings because they were on TV last night. All right, so the Vikings scored 12 more points than the Dolphins scored. Do we know how many points the Dolphins scored? So what can that be? X. Okay? And if we want to know how many points the Vikings scored, what are we going to do to that X and that 12? We're going to add them together. If we scored 12 more points than the Dolphins scored, number one, we don't know, so that can be your, I'm going to make D, because D for Dolphins, I don't care. And then 12 more points than the Dolphins scored, you're going to add plus 12. That's all you can do. You need to stop. Can you solve that? No, because we don't know what D is, so then you stop. Here's another example. 10 less than a number. Time out. First of all, if you ever see a number, that's where what your variable is. Okay? 10 less than a number. What does that look like? X minus 10. You have to be careful with subtraction. You really, really have to be careful. Even though 10 comes first in here, that's not how it is. 10 less than a number. So X, or whatever your variable is, minus 10. Does that make sense? You got to think about your subtraction. If you think 10 less than 24, you would take 24 minus 10, right? And if you didn't know what 24 was, X minus 10. So be careful with subtraction. That's so, so, so important. Yep. It's kind of like the first ones you did in your homework for the other day. Yeah, you're writing it out, but you don't solve it. Okay? And there's always one part in there that you're not sure of. So let's try this one. The Heat scored 4 less points than the Bulls scored. So what do we not know here? How many? We don't know how many points the Bulls scored. You're right. So I'm going to make that B. Then what am I going to do? Minus 4. Because the Bulls scored, or what is it? The Heat scored 4 less than them. Minus 4. You could even write equals the Heat. I don't care. 3 more. This is a two-step equation. 3 more than a number divided by 2. What do you know so far? John? A number divided by 2. That's what I would start with. 3 more. Okay, so timeout. Timeout. Let's take a timeout. Okay. No. What are the 2 operations you see in here? What are the adding and dividing? Okay. 3 more than a number divided by 2. So I have to take a number divided by 2 first. So that looks like what? N divided by 2 or whatever. Then plus 3. 3 more than a number divided by 2. In other words, this should have been in parentheses, and then you can do that 3 plus. It's going to take a while. You could put it on this side too if you want. Yeah, you could have went like this. Sure, that would have worked just fine. Either way. But subtraction is always a certain way. Addition, you can go either side. Subtraction, you cannot. Have to be careful with subtraction. All right, here you go. The product of 85 and a number. What am I going to do here? Times, right? Because you see the word product. No, you see the word product. 85 and a number, what's that look like? Lydia? No, product is multiply. The product of 85 and a number, Olivia? Sure, 85x. Nice job. You can have the time sign. I just took it out. Yeah, I don't want XX. That's why I did that. Okay, so here's another one. 4 times a number plus 9. What can that look like? What? 4 times a 4x plus 9. Does everybody understand how this is working? AB, we good back there? Oops. Good to go? Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Questions? Hannah? Logan, you seem to be having a good time yakking back there. Okay, so before I talk to you about your homework, a few reminders for you. Okay? Number 1, remember your order of operations. Don't forget what we learned Friday. If you need to use your notes, go back and use your notes. That's why you take them. Number 2, show your work. It'll make your life a lot easier. Not only for you doing your homework as you do it, but then your grade as well. Look for keywords, okay? Look for keywords that you know of. Less than, minus, product, quotient, things like that. A number, if you ever see a number, that means a variable. Okay? Do you have questions for me today? When you have something that looks like this, can you solve it? No. You can only solve it when you know what X or Y or Z is.